Amazing, much better. All right, let's see if I can see myself. That looks pretty good. All right, so we're going to begin. It is 6:22 p.m. in Beaumont, Texas. This is going to be a show about making sushi. And so I went to the fishmonger today here in Beaumont and received a delightful selection of tuna and salmon, which I'm now going to demonstrate how I have learned to cut out. First of all, nice looking. Of course, it smells like the ocean, and believe me, it will be delicious. So I take the sushi, I make sure to slice it along. See how these lines in the meat run this way, back and forth? You always want to slice across it so that what you end up with doesn't have a long string of other product. Now, I'm going to cut this in half because I want smaller pieces of sushi than just that. And so now I've cut it in half. Here's the grain, runs this way on this one. And they say if you kind of try to slice it at an angle, it works better. Of course, this looks really good. And then I transfer it to a little plate. You're not going to believe how good a piece of sushi, nigiri sushi, that is going to make. It's quite remarkable. And so I continue to slice. Boom, done. Nice. Next piece, same idea. There's the stripes going this way. And you might say, gee, Joe, that's a really easy deal. Well, you know, the fact is, this is a Dowell Strong knife. And it's a Shogun series knife. And it's made of AUS-10V Japanese super steel. Now, I know that this steel is fairly, it's soft enough to sharpen, okay? All that steel that comes out of Germany, way too hard, very difficult to sharpen, doesn't hold blade long. But those Wusthof knives, man, you can't beat them. They are terrific in battle. So, I have what is referred to as a steel. This thing here, this is a 14-inch steel. I had to order it. I had to order it from a restaurant supply place. I mean, these things are, you can't find them anywhere. And so, anyway, I got one because when you're sharpening a knife, you know, this knife is like a 12-inch model, I think. Maybe, I don't think it's 14, no. And it might only be 10. But still, when you're sharpening a knife, it's not a good idea to have something real short that you're going to just cut your finger off with, if you catch my drift. So that concludes the tuna prep portion of the evening. Now we will make salmon sashimi. And so I bought tuna and salmon because, you know, I can't really get any other good stuff like eel and you know, it's just some of the things you can really get if you could really kick, you know, what do they call that? Step up your game. But I'm not going to do that. So anyway, this is a nice piece of salmon. I got it at the same place that I got the tuna. Look how beautiful that tuna is. Here we go with the salmon. Really, it's not that complex. You know, you just basically have to, I like to leave the skin on the fish at the store, because once you take the skin off, then the piece of fish begins to decay a little bit more, just on the side where the skin was. And I don't know, I know how to skin a piece of fish, so I don't have to worry about it. Although I'm not doing that great a job on this. But that's okay. In fact, I'm going to start from the other side again. So now I continue. That's working a little better. There. Oh, thank God. All right. Well, that's good enough. As they say, that is close enough for rock and roll, because I'm gonna trim it down just a little bit. It's just fine. There. See? Now that's gone. Bloodline. If you see this thing that is brown in here, this is called a bloodline. Almost every fish has a bloodline of some sort. In fact, when you find a bloodline that is brown, or that is probably a bloodline you want to cut out of the piece of fish. And it's not that hard to do. I mean, you just kind of go right on the side at an angle like that, right on the side at an angle like that, boom, bloodline gone. But that will, if anything is going to smell like fish, it'll be that bloodline. And the object is for this stuff to smell like the ocean and taste like the ocean and be fresh and absolutely terrific. So anyway, now I have this skinned piece of salmon. It's beautiful, and I'm going to cut it here like this and here like that. Now noticeably, this piece has some lines going this way, so I'm just going to take it and make maybe just one piece out of it. Not even that much. See? It's more of an art than a science, So anyway, now we have this. Here is the line, kind of goes across this way, a little bit like that, a little bit like that. But I think that, I think I'm going to cut it this way. No, I need to cut it that way. There's also another very famous cut line that you have to make correctly, and that is the cut line on a picanha steak. You absolutely must cut that muscle exactly correct, or it will taste like shoe leather. And if you do it right, it tastes like filet mignon. It's called a picanha. It's part of the top sirloin section of a cow. But anyway, so I digress, and now I come back to topic. So there's the line, kaboom, kabang, kabang, kabat. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. All right. So now we prepare the rice portion of sushi. And so now I will attempt to make sushi in front of all of you right here tonight. And the first thing I'm going to do is clean my little, actually I don't even need this block. I paid all this money for a wonderful John Boos chopping block to put in my kitchen, so I'm going to use it exactly as it is. And the first thing I did was I went out to Amazon and I found something called now believe me, I do not speak Chinese, Japanese, any foreign languages associated with the East, but for some reason I can mimic that language like no one else's pajamas. So anyway, Twin Tai Tong Ka Xin Hua Wan Ya Patana Ji O Kong Gua Na. Now, what that means in English is that this thing makes the best sushi, nigiri sushi, I have ever seen outside of a restaurant. I mean, you don't have to be a pro to operate this. Look, woo, 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 woo. This one you put the rice in, that one you use to push it down, and then you stand up the rice and it comes out on the top with a fish on it. It is like nothing else I have ever tried. And man, I've rolled a lot of sushi with my own white boy hands. It didn't work out so well every time. So now, let's go ahead and make a little bit of this. As it turns out, I will need a platform. So I will start here with this. I like to wipe it down just a little bit. Dry it off. All right, and there we go. Now we make the actual little pieces of sushi. This is what is so cool about this setup, is that it's made for Americans. I don't know what to tell you. Oh yeah, and for aesthetics, you put this side up instead of this one. This one has little rings around the thing. This one does not. So, but now it is time for a little bit of sake. Now, sake, according to Julia Childs, would be poured into the dish somewhere. But in this case, I think I'm just gonna just have a little sip of it as I get ready to form all this sushi. Now, here we go. And a little bit of sushi, sake for you, and a little bit of sake for me. There, perfect. Okay, so now down to the, that's pretty warm. So I have some, these are like Mexican, I have no idea what you call them, but they work really well. And they seem to be made out of, they seem to be woven. But so anyway, here's the rice. Woo! Here's the shell. The object is to get this into each one of these so that it will then be smashed with this thing down. And then once that's done, then the fish will be put on top of each one of these, and then it'll be picked up, put on here, and pushed down, and boom, the sushi comes up. It's a miracle. So all right, how to get this into there? I happen to have made a little bowl of water. Now, apparently water is important in transporting. This is so small. This is actually some of the best small grain rice I have ever eaten. And I'm from Beaumont, where we grow rice for, a national pastime. And this stuff is unbelievably good. And unfortunately, I can't say I bought it from my family mill. But, it's a secret. You'll have to ask me if you want to know where I got it. Actually, I just can't remember. So, all right, we get a little bit of water. Peel a little bit of this stuff out, and then put it. You see that? Yeah, probably so. Oh, the rice is still a little bit warm. Yeah, I cooked this rice. This is great rice, and I cooked it for 15-20 minutes on low heat after boiling the water first, and it has to cool off enough for you to handle it. They have paddles for this and stuff like that. All I find with that stuff is it all just sticks to your, I don't know, it just sticks everywhere. It's just not as easy. This, apparently, with your fingers and water is, much more efficient. Because as you can see, I'm almost done with it. And if I were here with a spoon and a, something else, I have no idea, a paddle, I guess, I'd probably be here a lot longer. And plus with your fingers, you have the magic talent. It's like my stepdad used to say. He's a neurosurgeon. He said, some doctors like to get in there with a scalpel and just cut. They see and then they cut and then they do. But some doctors use their fingers. They want to get into what is behind the the morphology of the patient and so forth. And so it's really pretty cool that that I'm very tactile in my approach to this, because kind of reminds me of my dearly departed stepfather, and he was a great guy. So anyway, you see, now I'm almost there. This is almost done. We are just about ready to put the hammer down and have some fun. Because man, when this sushi comes up with that sake, and then I have some, wasabi and soy sauce, get back, Jack. It's gonna be good. Okay. Yeah, see what I'm talking about? That looks great. I usually just put all this stuff up on top and see if I can't press it in again. Because the more you press it, the better it is. the easier it is to pick it up with a pair of, chopsticks. I don't know if you saw my chopsticks yet, but we're going to talk about some of those in a minute too, because chopsticks is fun. Anyway, a little bit more water on this hand. And you know what? Honestly, last time I did this, I forgot to take the top shell and push it down on all these. And because I have this very tactile approach to making the actual pieces of sushi, it did make that, it made some difference. I mean, I wouldn't say every piece of sushi rice stayed perfectly together like it does when you press it, but it worked. There was some rice left in the bowl as normal, but it actually didn't make a fatal flaw. So if you forget something, keep going, enjoy yourself. I'm going to wash my hands and come back and finish this part of this dish. All right, we're back. This is making sushi in 2020 in Beaumont, Texas, and I always have to give a little shout out to my own old-fashioned hometown, and remember that all of the people in my family that came here 5 or 6 generations ago, they didn't all stay here, and neither did I. I lived in Houston most of my life. So, but I'm glad to be home. I'm glad to be taking care of my mom, and I'm awfully grateful to be here with y'all today. As Julia Childs would say, a little bit of sake for the rice, and a little bit for the chef. Delicious. And when it comes to the effect of wasabi, which is the pepper in the deal, you must have sake. Is the only thing that will really sell it. Okay, so where were we? Here we are. I still made way too much rice. This rice is very expensive, believe it or not. I mean, as I said, in the rice business, we know how to buy rice on the cheap. And so this particular rice is extremely good, and I'm willing to pay a premium for it. We'll have a show on rices, not races, but rices, and at some point in time. And we'll go through short grain, long grain, medium grain, where it's grown, who grew it, how much it costs when you buy it. I mean, a lot of people don't know the math and stuff like that, and it ends up being really kind of, you get ripped off. So here we go. Rice is done. Press is ready. Kaboom. We press this baby down. Oh, look at that. Yeah. See? Doesn't hardly go down any. And then I kind of do it like that so it comes right off. Look at that. That rice is pressed and ready. Oh my God. Oh my God, this is going to be so good. Now, most traditional chefs, and I do like it this way, but I haven't been able to figure out how to do it, is they will take a little bit of wasabi, just, like that much of it, and they'll put it right here on top of the rice. Maybe I'll try it again. But just that much, not much. But it's very customary to put a little bit of wasabi on here. And look at this. First time I tape, I figured it out. Good, so I'm going to do it. Because when the wasabi and the fish and the rice hit your palate, you got to have a little sip of sake to tone it down, because sake must have a lot of sugar in it or something, I don't know. And man, it is like wonderful. Okay, so good. I was able to do that. And then I'm going to put a little bit of this in my what's going to become my soy sauce bowl. See? I like it very spicy. I like you're gonna see I'm gonna cry tonight, and it isn't gonna be because the Dallas Cowboys lost their game last week, or Patrick Mahomes broke his ankle in a game and the Chiefs are out, for years. No, I'm gonna cry because this shit is hot as it gets. So anyway, having said that, wherever you can source good wasabi, you should. Obviously, I'm saying I bought this directly on Amazon from someplace. I have no idea where it is. I can show you what the name is on the label. However, it's just like this stuff here. Who the hell knows what you're ordering and when you're getting it? And thank God we can get it, because it ain't going to always be this way. And so now I'm ready to put sushi to rice. And that means I'm through with the water until we make some more sushi. I'm through with the rice until we make some more sushi. Okay. And I have the fish right here. And so I'm actually ready to make 10 pieces of sushi. And as I said, oh man, I got these chopsticks. These are stainless steel, dude. This is stainless steel. Can you believe it? That's very cool. It's like they don't bend. They don't, they don't have water in them. Like, these, I love these because they're really nice, long, thick, good, beginner chopsticks. They're they're like a half-inch longer than these stainless ones. And they're thicker too. So they're like, when you're beginning to use chopsticks, it's easier if they're fat. But, I've been using chopsticks for a pretty long time. So, then I started looking around for, pretty good stuff. And these are very plain. Nothing wrong with those. And, these have a serration of a sort at the tip. And I really like these. But my problem with them is that they were really short. But when they started making them in stainless, I said, okay, I'll give that a try. Noticeably, these are all the same. So, I mean, what kind of weirdness is that? And so I have my thing, and I'm just going to make, the way I like to do it is I like to do one that is a salmon, like so, right? So we can make this a little better presentation for the camera. Can you even see that? Let me see. I don't even think you can see it. Okay, let's put it over here. Kaboom. Okay, now we come to the session on how to put the fish on the rice. And so I've started with one piece of salmon. Now I want to lay down one piece of tuna, because I want to eat one piece of salmon, one piece of tuna. Yum, yum. And so then comes another piece of salmon. Oh, I have to finish cutting that. Look at that. You see, I don't beat myself up for something like that. And it's you gotta try and do and keep making sushi until you get to the point where, the majority of the time when you make it, it's really good. And that's I've been doing this a long, since I was a young man. And I'm just now getting to where I can really do it right. See, look at that, beautiful. Now I'm gonna go tuna, salmon. Now I've had sushi in a lot of restaurants, believe me, mainly in Houston and California, New York, Chicago, all those great places. But when you can make this at home and it costs like something ridiculous, like $20, and then if I were a class 1 restaurant, do you know how much a beautiful plate of sushi like this costs? For like 10 pieces of sushi served up properly. You just pick them off. See, look, now we press them out. You just pick them off of the dish like that. Do you know, people pay $10 a piece for this. This is a $100 session of sushi that I paid like, $10 for the fish, I believe it was. And then the rice, yeah, well, that was probably $1 or $2, so, it's not free. And that is why I love to make sushi at home, because I save myself $80, which, of course, I spend on $80 sake. All right, well, God bless. Have a great time, and we love you dearly.